My mother.
My mother.
She's my mom.
That would be the easy answer.
My aunt.
My aunt.
She always made things right. No matter how bad things were.
She really meant everything to me.
The person I went to with any problem.
She was invaluable. I mean, she was the closest thing really to a parent that I had throughout my 20s.
People talk about that person in the family. It's kind of like the glue.
Could you explain the difficulties she experienced in her life?
I believe it all started when I was born, unfortunately. She had to have a blood transfusion, and she got some bad blood. This is back in 1972.
Right, this is when they didn't check.
Yeah, they didn't check it. So her doctor shouldn't have been at the hospital at that moment in time, and he cut her in a way. I guess it made her bleed internally. So she had to have a emergency operation. They gave her her last rites. She got a blood transfusion that caused her to have hepatitis C, I believe. So over the years, that affected her liver. And she deteriorated over a number of years, but it didn't get bad until the last, 5 or 6 years of her life. And then she had a liver transplant, and it's uncertain whether the cancer was there prior to the transplant, but that is a possibility. But then the new liver developed cancer, and then it went down from there.
I always had this memory of us racing. We were looking at houses, and we were moving from a house, and we went out to look at some houses, and we were like running. I was probably 8 years old or 9 years old, and it was just kind of, it wasn't out of her character, like spiritually, but from a physical sense, like, yeah, she would play tennis every once in a while, but she wasn't going for a run and sprinting. So like, just in that moment, like, she was a kid, she was like my mom, but she was just some other kid to me, and we were running and just like laughing, just bagging up about the fact that we were running.
What was the last thing you said to her?
Mom and I always had this thing where, well, actually, it was the last thing she and I said together. It was a few days before she died, and it was right before she couldn't talk anymore. Mom and I always said this thing was, if I said to her, I love you, she'd say, no, I love you more. And I'd go, no, I love you more. And we'd go back and forth like that. And I was cleaning her flush lines from her arm. There were these 2 PICC lines that were in her arm for fluids and stuff, and I was flushing them out, and she's like, you are so good at this, you need to do this for a living, like take care of people. And I was like, let me just take care of you. This is one moment where she was really lucid and like really there. And I said, let me just worry about you. And I said, okay, Mom, I'm going downstairs. I'll see you tomorrow. I love you. And she goes, no, I love you more. And I go, no, I love you more. And, we went back and forth, and then we said goodnight.
The day before she died, I spent a lot of time in the room with her, but she was so out of it. She was basically sleeping, and she'd have these moments where she would completely come to, like Sophie and Izzy walked into the room and she knew who they were, and it was so sweet. And she said hi babies to them, and I was just so happy that I knew she knew that we were there and that they were there. And I just couldn't leave, but I knew I had to get back to the beach and I had to get the girls dinner, and you're just torn because like it's your mom and yet you have to be a mom, so you're completely like pulled in opposite directions, which I'd never experienced before. Obviously, when my mom died when I was 13, and when Gami died I didn't have kids, so this but I had left once already. And I gave the girls to Alex, and I said, I just need to go back and talk to her for one more minute. And I just walked back. And whereas when she had been in the hospital before her liver transplant, she was, you know, not really cognizant and almost in a coma. And I just kept telling her I loved her and I knew she was going to make it. And, you know, and she told me later that she remembered all that. And I was like, oh, okay. So she knows, even when she's not with you, she knows you're there. And this point was just so different. I just knew she was in so much pain. And I said all the things to her that I never got to say to my own mom before she went. And because I just couldn't carry that with me anymore. I was like, for once I have to do this correctly. This is the third time a mother figure is leaving my life and I have to not fuck this up. So I said, thank you so much for everything you've done. And you've been the most amazing mom ever, and we'll be okay if this is your time. If you are ready to go, then don't stay for us, because you know we will be okay. I wanted her to know because I felt like she was hanging on because she was worried about us, because that was just her nature. And I just thanked her and told her all the millions of ways I loved her, and then I walked out of the room, and the next day I got the phone call.
It was when I put her in the car, and I got her in the passenger seat of the car, so I was like in the driveway out in front of the beach house, and put her in there, and she couldn't get herself buckled in, and I couldn't reach around her because I knew I would hurt something on her. So I had to come over to the driver's side of the car, and she still didn't know it was me. I'm still not sure what Jimmy was doing at the time. I think he was still in the house, just kind of dealing with things. And I reached around, reached across the front seat, buckled her in, and gave her a kiss on the cheek, because I knew that was probably it. And, you know, I think I just told her I love her and all that stuff, and goodbye. And she kind of looked over to me, opened up her eyes for like, you know, a split second, because her eyes were closed the entire time. And she kind of looked at me and said, "Hi, baby." It was a whisper. It was like you couldn't even hear it. She, you know, she just basically mouthed it. But I was kind of close enough to her where, you know, I could hear her say it. And she opened it up, you know, opened up her eyes enough to, you know, kind of see the blue eyes were still there. And I can't remember if she did the, you know, I love you thing that she does, or did, you know, with the I love you thing. You know, I was kind of lost on it. As soon as she said that, I kind of fell apart, and you know, we closed the door, and that was pretty much it.
Los Cabos, San Lucas. I'm not sure where we are, but I know we're not in our country because nobody's speaking English.
What's up? What's up, crew? What's up?
How
are you?
I'm gonna come around.
What's up, buddy?
How are you, pal?
How are you? What's going on?
Good.
Yeah?
The house is so big that from that corner to the edge of it, you're like a tiny little flea. Tiny.
Oh my god.
Hey, I'm gonna sit and read and relax.
Are you going down the beach?
Yeah, all the kids are going down.
Alright.
Bye.
Oh, you didn't know?
No! Who knew about this?
That's the one in the family room. Yeah, that's what we were saying. I don't know what it is.
I'd like to see your team.
David looked at it, he's like,
They're old.
yeah. Because I was asking,
Alicia and Courtney.
I want to find some Iranian runs. He's like,
Hello.
oh, you're not
We
going
have
to
to
find
go
that.
low.
Is it-
Hi. We're sitting here having the most marvelous time with my
I got it.
and my super handsome husband.
Last day. Any parting words?
Yes, I'm going to be extremely sad. I don't want to leave. Sorry, guys, I just don't want to leave. Not that I don't love home, but I could stay here for now.
Brilliant idea. Brilliant. We've all been watching, actually so impressed, and you've got this box in your hand with the diamond ring in it. And that's how you will present it to Christy. And we'll all be standing around like, you know, in the water. We'll be, you know, floating and doing the water splash thing and everything else. I think she's going to be impressed. I really do. And I think she'll up in the middle.
Where's Christy during all this?
Well, she'll be one of the mermaids swimming around, you know, with all of us. She'll be one of the mermaids. We can't put her in the center of attention because she'll know something's going on.
Right.
We can say we're doing it for PJ's birthday or what. The king of the sea, your mermaid that you're capturing with your heart.
Took a place in the corner of your mind, and you drank your wine. Your bitter eyes hide from morning light, and that's not right. Oh please, will you ever stop, or have you had enough? Do you think of me every time you breathe? You should, on the porch, in the sun, by the bar, in the rain. You're all around us, and we're all around naturally, you know how the sun's one guy. Your skin, your eyes look dyed. With every glance it becomes more alright. Blood from it's not shaking. You're standing on sturdy ground. You're standing on sturdy ground. Ignore the echoes from around. You should, on the porch, in the sun, by the bar, in the rain. You're all around us, on the porch, in the sun, by the bar, in the rain. You're all